from the standpoint of conscious spirit, nothing has to change in order for you to be happy. Imagine that. From the perspective of conscious spirit, nothing needs to change for you to be happy. From the ego's point of view, lots of things needs to change for you to be happy. The ego always thinks that the past needs to be different, the present certainly needs to be different, and the future needs to be different. And if all that was just different, then the ego says, I would be and I will be happy. But from spirit, happiness or gratitude is inherent within existence. Conscious spirit is grateful for what is. It sees the existential value of life and existence. Of course, another one of these values that is inherent within spirit is, of course, love. Love comes from the knowing, the realization, the experience of unity, that we are not different, that we are not separate, that we may be very unique in the human manifestation, but essentially we are one. And this realization gives rise to a great love of all being and all beings, a great intimacy with life, with existence. When we realize that life is a manifestation of what we are, that life itself, the hugeness, the immensity of life is a manifestation of your ineffable being as conscious spirit. This gives rise to a great love, a great and deep intimacy, a closeness, an experiential knowing and a feeling of great intimacy with each moment of your life and each being that's within it. And this love is something that spirit holds as a great value. Again, not a moral value, but as something that is valuable, that's literally a manifestation of who and what you are. So if you think of these awakened values as manifestations of who and what you really and truly are, truthfulness, unity, freedom, peace, gratitude, love, are actually not things you have to try to become. That's how ego sees it. But they're literally manifestations that leap right out of the center of the truth of your being. And so awakening through allowing everything to be as it is and inquiry, who and what am I really, is essential. And then becoming very conscious. Again, not applying these from the outside, but discovering them from the inside, discovering these values, discovering that they are actually inherent within your true nature. To really explore in stillness and inquiry that your true nature as spirit, as consciousness, has these deep, what I call awakened values. And it's these values that dictate how conscious spirit moves and acts and responds. It moves from truthfulness and unity and freedom and peace and love. That's the ground from which it moves. It doesn't move from the ground of separation and fear and blame and control. It moves from the ground of truthfulness and peace and freedom and love and gratitude. Again, these are not values that the ego should be trying to carry necessarily. I'm speaking about something that's inherent in your true nature, waiting there to be discovered and then lived. This is what I call conscious living, to live out the values that are inherent within spirit itself. It becomes much easier when you realize that spirit is essentially what you are. And it becomes a blessing not only to you, but to all beings. It becomes a blessing to this world. And it's an expression of true love. So these three are really the basic applications of the teaching. And as I said in the first video, that the basics are the most important. It's what people lose sight of. Everybody wants the most complicated things, the most subtle teachings. And although there are more subtle teachings than I presented in this video, or on the other video on the basic principles of the teaching, it's the basics that are the most important. Everything, it's like a house. You have to have a foundation of a house or the house collapses. So although there are more subtle applications of the teachings, maybe even more subtle principles, the basics are 98% of the teaching. People get a little spiritual experience and they think it's time for them to move on for the basics. But I can tell you, it's never move on from the basics. You never leave the foundation. Because it's within these basics, it's within these fundamental truths and principles from which an incredible depth of subtlety and profound wisdom and love and spiritual realization is to be found. An ongoing revelation of truth and the sacredness of existence is to be found in these very, very, very basic teachings. So stay with the basics, and you'll find that they can take you to a place you never imagined if they're applied with great honesty, great integrity, intention, and love. So thank you for joining me for this video, and I wish you very, very well.